Alex, you want canned cranberry sauce, or should we make it ourselves?
That's my mom. She didn't know about Instacart's family carts, so...
Want to make pecan pie this year, yes or no? Oh, and how many boxes of stuffing?
So I told her we could just share a family cart and add all our holiday favorites to the same order without losing our voices or our sanity. It's so much fun.
Alex, can you get my holiday village out of the attic?
Baby steps, Alex. Baby steps. Shop Instacart this holiday season and enjoy free delivery on your first 3 orders. Service fees and terms apply.
Alex?
Yo, what up, Cuzzy Wuzzies? You're listening to the Bay Ridge Boys History Hyenas. Yo, what's up out there, you wild fucking hyenas? This is the History Hyenas podcast. We're fucking History Hyenas, and that's why we go fucking wild. All right?
I'm Chris DiStefano, and I approve that message. I approve going...
So listen, I don't want to hear anyone listen to this podcast saying, oh, that was incorrect. They got a fact wrong. First of all, how the fuck do you know? Were you there?
You weren't there.
You weren't there.
Well, most of history is written like fucking, 10 years after the shit already happens.
Yeah.
So you don't know shit, just like we don't know shit.
And it's always written by the victors and the rich and the powerful. So how the fuck do you know?
You don't know shit. It's always, history's written by the winners.
And that's my first point. My second point is we don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
We're doing history the way we want to do history.
Yeah.
We're
Hyenas,
fucking history hyenas. We're not history professors.
And listen, we're hyenas first, and then we love history. But this Hyenas, stands up on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram every single day and talks about how great of an American he is. But then he wears a Montreal Expos hat wherever he fucking goes. You know what that is? #hyena.
And look, we're history. I think we're history hyenas second.
You think we're history hyenas second?
What do you think we are first?
TBG, True Blue Gays.
I would say that's 1.5. What do we? Yeah,
number one first.
Number one before
straight white males.
I think that's 1.25.
1.25.
What are we first?
Fucking the first. We're wild.
That's 1/10.
1/10.
I'll give you a hint.
What?
It starts with a C.
Oh, I know what it is. We're CWSs. Coyotes with smoothies.
At the end of the day, first, I think we're cuties with smoothies.
At the end of the day, first, we're cuties with smoothies, and Patreon members only are going to start getting some cuties with smoothie t-shirts.
Listen, guys, you got to sign up for our freaking club, our exclusive. You want to be an exclusive cuz? You want to be an exclusive cutie with a smoothie? Do you want to be a cuzzy wuzzy bad 3 times? Then head over to patreon.com/Bay Ridge Boys. You know what you get if you do that? You get all types of stuff, cuz.
What?
You get exclusive videos from our official legit research tours.
Yes,
okay?
Those are legit skis.
You're trying to say we don't know what we're talking about? You're trying to tell us there were some facts that were incorrect? We went on tours.
Yeah, that's what you watch the movie Celtic Pride about how when, they kidnap the best basketball player from the other teams, we're going to start kidnapping tour guides. That's what's going to start happening. We're going to go to a tour. We're going to go to a place. We're going to go to a battlefield, and we're going to hog tie the fucking tour guide and put him on our trunk, and we're going to make him or her do videos, and then we'll give them back to their battlefield when we decide to leave.
We're just going to lose it like that. It's going to be like National Lampoon's Vacation. Remember, we came all this way?
Yeah.
We don't care if you're closed. You're taking us on this tour of every single Civil War battlefield.
Of all time.
We should do that. That would be a wild news story.
Yeah.
2 comedians kidnap Civil War battlefield tour guide.
Yeah. And
they'd be like, why'd you do it? And be like, because we're fucking wild.
That's why. That's what we do.
Yeah. So you get exclusive videos from our research tours, our history tours. Me and Chris make videos bad. We
just make videos all the time, but history is what we love.
We do. And we go on bro dates bad. Like we go, we tour, we hang out. I mean, we look like 2 true blue gays, seriously.
Yeah. I mean, I can't tell if you any time in Bay Ridge, if you go into like a diner between the hours of like 11 a.m. and like 5 p.m., there's a good chance you're going to see me, Giannis, and my daughter eating, Slovakia, and everybody in the diner thinks we're just 2 true blue gays who adopted a little Puerto Rican girl. That's what everybody thinks. That's just what our lives are. You know, people in Bay Ridge think we're gay. Bad.
Yeah, either that or we're just cops watching a little girl.
Yeah.
Who's missing or something. And
Yeah.
we're just getting her some ice cream before we take her down to the station.
Yeah.
Because you got cop face bad.
Yeah.
And I got detective face.
Yeah.
Undercover. You look more like a uniform guy.
Yeah. I look like I'm all about the police academy, and
Yeah.
your cop face sketch was great on your Instagram.
Yeah.
It's great.
You also look like you say Sarge a lot.
I say Sarge, and I'll call people Chief
Yeah,
a lot.
Chief.
I'm like, what's up, Chief?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
So head over to our page, guys. You get bonus content. You get a bonus History Hyenas episode every week. You're the first one to see our newest Bay Ridge Boys webisode episodes. The next one is coming up very, very soon. There's already 110 of you. There's already 110 people we want to say thank you to. And for the newest ones that signed up, guess what? We got a little treat for you at the end of this episode. This episode, what the fuck are we talking about, Hyena Chrissy Wild?
Yeah. Well, what this episode, and what that, well, we'll tell them what we're going to do is at the end of this episode, we're going to read their names out.
Goddamn right we are.
We're going to read their fucking names out. And trust me, I could tell by these names, a couple of you guys. But this episode is, we're kind of taking a little, we're not talking about war. We're not talking about battles. We're not talking about, vicious, savage warriors. We're tucking our dicks back. We're talking about transgenders. That's what we're doing. So what we do is I've just tucked and taped Buffalo Bill style, and we're going to talk about the history of transgenders, a.k.a., but not politically correct, trannies.
Wild horses.
Yes. And listen, okay.
The crying game, cuz.
I know the crying game.
Yeah.
So the history of it is, I know there's some people like, well, what do you mean history? It's not like, it's not a choice. I'm not saying like that, it's like a thing that people have just recently become. I know people have always been transgender and always, not really believed in what their, what?
I got a better idea.
Go ahead, keep talking.
Oh.
Tell me what we're talking about today.
We're talking about fucking Buffalo Bill. No, we're talking about transgenders, precious.
I'd fuck me.
It likes it when you rub the lotion.
You think this is the most famous trans scene, maybe?
This is the most famous trans scene
It's
of all.
evil, though. He's trying to build a suit out of women's skin.
Put the lotion in the bottom.
But he must feel like a woman inside of a serial killer's body, or a serial killer in a woman's body.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I mean...
Precious!
White Wasp. Oh, by the way, of course we got White Wasp.
The original trans!
The original tranny who's got a fucking rat tail for today's episode. I mean, this guy's a legit ponytail. We'll post a video of it on Patreon. And then ZIF, Zachy Ice's face, doing his thing, editing Ice's videos while also producing this podcast. Thank you for your service to both of you.
Yeah, and you can't be trans in your culture,
Yeah.
right? They'll
What
fucking
about
throw
that?
you off a building.
Is that what happens with you guys?
Or thrown out at birth, one of those.
Yeah.
Discarded.
They discard you.
What about for the wasps?
Discarded.
The wasps?
They do that. No, wasps...
They support it.
Yeah, no, because they do it in private and they do it at secret parties, right? So it's like, it's not a big deal. Like even Hoover, the head of the FBI,
Yeah.
he wasn't trans, but he was a cross-dresser.
Right.
He dressed in like he put on panties behind closed doors. He got dressed up like a woman. It's just in the wasp brain to be fucking wild and weird. So when they go to their little parties, they put on moose heads.
Right.
And like, there's no question that Bardo has a pair of panties that he has put on.
Yeah, 100%.
And he sniffs them and he puts them over his head. He's got one for over his head that he wears like a football helmet, and then he's got other one. He's got another one that he puts his trunk and he tucks it away and he fucking prances around.
He puts it on his head?
Yeah.
You're
tell
a sick
me I'm wrong.
fuck, Bardo.
Tell me I'm fucking. You don't have
White
female
wasp.
rain boots. You got some female rain boots, huh?
Cotton down here, satin up.
That's he goes.
Yeah, he goes satin on his head.
Yeah.
He's fucking wild.
Yeah, I mean that's what wasps do, cuz.
Yeah, so we're talking about transgenders, and it's been around since the beginning of time.
That's the
I mean,
thing.
let's be honest with
That's
ourselves.
the thing.
Yeah.
In the research that I was doing, that's kind of the thing.
Right.
I'm like, what's the point in learning any of this? These transgender people have always been around. Every civilization, they've just always been around.
Yeah, we found evidence for them existing in the ancient Egyptian times. So like, when they were building the pyramids, there were people who were, tucking the dicks back. I mean, what it is. Or if you were a woman, They would.
How can you do
I mean, look, it's what it is.
I marvel sometimes at how they do that.
Because there's no, because don't forget, like, you couldn't do the sexual reassignment surgery is a very new thing.
Yeah.
But back in the day when you wanted to be, you weren't going to cut off your own penis. And the only reason why we're talking about mostly men going to, we're talking about, most of the examples are men going to female. There are a couple of examples of female going to men.
Pre-science. We can, how there's like an AD and BC before Christ?
Yeah.
Anno Dominio. I don't know. You're the Catholic. What is it? Anno Dominio?
Yeah, something like that.
AD,
Yeah.
at post-Christ.
Yeah.
When you talk about trans people, you could really almost break it up into two categories. Pre-science, post-op surgery.
Right.
And post.
And post-op
Like
surgery.
science just couldn't do what they could do recently.
No. Now, I mean, they could, you can just make a penis out of your elbow and a vagina out of your fucking foot. Like, I mean, it's wild.
Let's talk honestly. If you were trans in ancient Greece, you had an Adam's apple. They
Yeah,
couldn't
100%.
shave it down yet.
They could not shave the Adam's apple down.
Couldn't shave it down.
The only thing you could really do if you were trans back then, I mean, you could shave your head if you want to look more like a guy. And there was a couple of examples of people who we found who they were men. They were believed to be men their entire lives.
Yeah.
They're believed to be men their entire lives. They show no sign. They had wives, which is wild. And then the secrets were only out when they were dead, and they went to go, embalm their body, and they found a puss. Well, they thought they were going to find a cute little dick.
They found a cute puss.
But they found a puss.
Yo, so that means that the wives that did that were probably lesbian, and they both had an agreement that, like, we're just going to live this life. That's how they did it back then.
Right.
I like puss. You like being a dude. We both like licking puss. You'll pretend to be a dude. I'll be a chick.
Right.
They actually had a pretty interesting way to deal with it.
I mean, because being transgender doesn't necessarily mean you're gay, right? Is homosexuality and being transgender are two different things?
Totally different things.
Parts of the brain?
Totally different things.
You did a little bit more research on parts of the brain.
Yeah, I did. And, I have, the funny thing is, dude, Maurisa is a character that I do that got very popular. She's a trans woman.
Legit trans.
And,
Which, by the way, for a bonus Patreon episode, that's who we're going to interview.
She's coming in.
So
Chris is going to interview her.
So if you want to listen to the interview with Maurisa, the first trans to go viral, then
join our club, cuz.
Join our club.
Community.
Join our club. Just go to patreon.com/BayRidgeBoys and join our community.
Become a freaking member. It's $1 a month or $5 a month. Come on, you guys are crushing it. Do it, cuz. Yeah.
So Maurisa,
Yeah, Maurisa, it was like, and then it became a huge part of the Western national conversation. That was an oxymoron. No, the Western. I'm saying Western countries.
Yes,
it became a huge part of the conversation. Canada, America, Europe, transgendered rights, transgender people, and I only say that because people who are progressive always kind of knew about transgender rights and who they were, but now it's kind of been thrust into the mainstream. Even before Caitlyn, she gets a lot of the credit, but Laverne Cox, Caitlyn, people like that, but. Now, working class people, regular people, religious people, everyone knows about trans people.
It's
out there.
It's part of common. It's common. Like we were walking today, we walked 2 blocks. We're in the West Village, but we saw 2 transgendered people.
I mean, she was 6'7". She was a big girl.
Yeah, she was. Yeah, it was a big girl.
She was about 6'5", 6'7".
She was fucking diesel.
She wasn't petite.
You know what's an interesting thing now is like, what about like clothing, like some of these men who like trans, who switch to women, like where do they buy their clothes?
Wherever Wendy Williams shops.
You think Wendy's is trans?
No, but she's
a big girl.
She's not petite.
I did radio with her once. She's cute. I like her. I've always been attracted to Wendy Williams.
You are, huh?
I've always, but I also think I've always fucking thought black guys were cute. I mean, I may be gay. I don't know. Yo,
you could be trans.
No, I'm not.
You like big jugs though. She has big jugs.
She has big tits. I'm not trans, but I will tell you this story. Yeah. When I was a teenager, my cousins dared me to dress up like a girl.
Yeah.
They dared me to do it. They were like, dress up like a girl and walk around our cul-de-sac on Staten Island, which is where my father lived there, and my uncle and his daughters lived a few houses down, and I was hanging out with them. They're like, walk around like that, and they were like, we'll pay you $5, which is pretty low price.
But that's big money when you're a kid.
Yeah, I guess when you're 15,
especially back in there, you could get a couple slices for $5
easily.
Yeah,
Staten Island,
and an icy
back then. Oh yeah. Yeah, bad.
Yeah.
So I did it. I dressed up like a girl. And I remember my father coming out and like seeing me, and it was weird because at first he slowed the car. I know he slowed the car down because he was looking at my ass. I know that. He didn't know it was me. I know
How
that.
old were you?
I was about 15, so I had a fucking booty.
You had a nice tight ass.
I was in good shape, so he slowed the car down. I know he's because it was just him.
Yeah.
Coming from the store, he slowed the car down, and he started like, he was looking at my ass, and then I looked at him, and I was like, "What's up, Dad?" And then I'll never forget. He slammed on the brakes.
What did he say to you? Tell the story.
He said it likes it when you put the lotion in the basket.
That song is actually it's a really good song.
Yeah.
But it's like you can't hear that song without thinking about Silence
You
of the
can't
Lambs.
hear that song and not at least to start to motion your hand to start tucking your dick back. I always do that. That's an instant fucking tuck back dick, an instant TBD.
Yeah. Yo, human sexuality is wild.
Wild.
Human brains are fucking wild.
Wild.
I don't know if there's any trans animals. To my research, there's not, but there are a few animals where dudes pretend to be chicks for certain things.
Really?
Yeah.
Like what? Like with the hyena pseudopenis? What are you talking about?
Well, no, that's it. But that's actually an interesting thing. That's a
'cause
wild thing,
right there. That's kind of like a transsexual activity.
No, but some birds and shit, they do that. You know
What? They do what?
Like, dudes will pretend to be chicks for certain things.
You're saying a bird will pretend to be a male bird will pretend
Hell
to be?
yeah!
How? Like I don't get it.
Because of research I did.
Yeah.
Zach Isis, can you look that up? Which animals pretend to be chicks?
Yeah.
We want to know which animals are trans.
Trans out.
That's it. Which animals chirp? That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it.
But your interview's not coming till later.
Yo, but listen, dude, I don't know. Human sexuality is wild, cuz.
Yeah.
All right? Because I used to put on dresses to make my friends laugh.
Right.
Right? I would walk around and do what we called the la pousse, which is where I would tuck it and walk around like Silence of the Lambs and my friends would crack up.
Right.
But then when I was a kid, I used to throw on stockings and jerk off.
Yeah.
I told you that.
You told me that. Yeah.
And
I'm
I
actually
grew out of it,
I'm
but-
happy that you just publicly told you that because I've been living with that information for about 5 years now. So I'm happy that the group knows.
Well, it was actually one of the first jokes I ever wrote. One of the first jokes. I wish I have a video of that set somewhere. But one of the first jokes I ever wrote was about what happened. Is like, because I used to get, back then you had like porno mags, right?
Right.
Like it was just that's I'm from the 50s, so
Right.
So yeah, so you would just kind of I would lay out the porno mags and like look at pictures, and then I don't know, I just got like turned on by stockings, the material of them.
Yeah.
So I guess I was 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I don't know if I was even shooting tzatziki yet. You know what I mean?
You may not have been.
Not even. So and then my pops came to the door. And I knew it was my pop because he called my name, and I like tried to stop the door. I did not want him to see me
You
like
had full blown stockings on.
I had my mom's stockings on.
Yeah,
and I was jerking off,
And you were cranking it.
and I was cranking it with these porno mags out.
Yeah.
And he overpowered me and opened the door, and I'm just standing there. The mags are out, my dick's out. I'm in stockings. And he looks at me. He looks down at the porno mags. He looks at the stockings, and he goes, "Does your mother know?" And that was like the first bit I wrote. I was like, "Yeah, Dad, she helped me pick them out." It's like that's the moment where you want to fucking give me some guy advice, give me some direction. Be like, "Yo, what are you doing, kid?"
That's all he said.
That's
Does your
all
mother
he
know?
said. I guess it was so overwhelming for him as a moment. Like he just didn't know what to do with a kid. Like I was obviously maybe an oversexed kid. I don't know. I have a high sex drive.
You really do
I
have
like
high
banging
sex drive.
bad. Yeah,
Yeah,
I like it. So do you, cuz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I just get bored quick.
Yeah. I like to bang. Every girlfriend I've ever had is like, it turns me down a lot because I'm looking to bang.
But let me ask you this though: could you be looking to bang so much because you're compensating because you actually
I'm a true blue gay?
true blue gay? Because you're actually, because like you're so good at playing a transgender character.
I know.
It's like, do you think like that's why you bang out so bad? Because you think deep in your mammalian brain, you feel like you could go that way if the circumstances were kind of, if the water was just right, could you go that way? Could you trans it up?
I could do it. I mean, I could pretend. I think I could do it. It doesn't feel like the real me though when I'm doing it. I don't feel like I'm finally liberated or anything. It's always like a little funny to me. It's
Right.
always like a little. Well, I only do. I do one character. I created her.
Right.
I do have a lot of characters.
Yeah.
But I created this character.
Did
She's
you create
trans.
her? Or did she create you?
Or she create me?
Or did she create you? I don't know.
You think that she's the real me?
I do think that, And I think through doing our research about this, stuff, I was like, I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like, back in the day, like they would just think like transgender people, like, like they're confused and like, I think society pushed them away so much because they were like, this is so abnormal to them. But now in the society we live in where it's like, everything is just acceptable. It's like, yeah, I believe that transgender people, like, could you imagine how horrible it must be? Like if you were living in today and you were like, I know I was born a woman. I just know my actual assigned gender is being a woman. Wouldn't that fucking bug you out?
It would bug me out.
Yeah.
It would bug me out. And it's such a hot button topic.
Right.
We can't even really talk about the history of it without touching upon how much of a political nuclear bomb it is.
Right.
There's people on both sides that just go fucking wild on it.
Right.
Like the people who are, on the left of this issue, I guess that's the way you describe it, the ones that push trans issues, have gone to the extent where there's like 100 different genders, all these different categorizations, and it kind of flies in the face of what the science says.
Right.
And then the people on the other side are just like way stringent with it. They're like, it's a mental illness, and if I, keep it out of my face. And
Right.
It's like it's like everything else in the discourse, in political discourse nowadays in modern times. It's like the extreme point of views are just so much easier, and that's the way you get attention, is just by going, I'm over here, when the truth probably lies, like most things, in the gray areas. There's probably a little truth over here and a little truth over there. There's obviously some science here. By the way, the science is inconclusive, and we learned that from reading. It's like they don't know yet. Right. There seems to be that the brain scans of transgendered people are more similar to, in most instances, more similar to the gender of their choosing, right? Like if it's a trans woman, more similar to a
what they transition
woman.
into.
More similar to a cis woman than their gender,
which is wild.
Gender assignment at birth.
That's a wild. But see, that's a wild.
It's wild.
When we found that out, to me, that was mind blowing because it's like they do have a brain of a woman,
sort of. But then the question is, did that area of the brain light up more because of their behavior, or because, in other words, which came first, the chicken or the egg? So did they start acting like a woman, and then that's why their brain started that way, or was their brains that way? Probably a little bit of both. I'm saying the answer is always probably a little in the middle, and it probably all varies person to person. Do some people choose a little bit more than the way they're born, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But the science does say when you're born, you're either, physiologically, you're either male or female. You have genitalia that either is open, but the fucking people who are rigid on the right, it's like, don't you understand what kind of thin line there is between these chromosomes and shit, and what genitalia actually is? Like, it's just this thing that either goes up, or your testes either descend and become testes, or they go up and become freaking ovaries. It's like we're all made out of the same shit. And then sometimes you have these kids that are born intersex,
who
actually have both. And you actually had a client who was one.
Yeah, I had a client.
Tell us about it.
Well, I had a client.
Because you probably had sex with her.
No, I did not.
Well, she was, or he was cute.
No, it was a woman, and she came in with like back pain, and the guy who I was working for at the time was a physical therapist. Used to be a physical therapist. She was like, she's got back pain. It's like standard, blah blah blah, and then. I guess the patient already thought that I was, was told about them, but I wasn't. And my boss was in there, and he was like, did you check the groin? Did you check? It's called the adductor muscles. He's like, did you check the adductors? And I said, no. And he said, well, you got to check that. So I said to the woman, I said, would you mind, I have to, put my hand here. And then I just felt a fucking testicle.
You didn't know it was coming.
Didn't know it was coming. It was a little
Should
shocking.
I play the music or no?
Yeah, it was a little shocking. I was like, whoa. At first I thought it was like, is that a fucking leg tumor? I don't know what it is, but it was a ball. And turned out she was a hermaphrodite, intersex. And it was bizarre. And not bizarre, but it was just like, it's not, these things aren't, I don't know. I guess the term bizarre is wrong because to be honest with you, when I look at a transgender person now, when I'm in their company, I don't feel weird about it anymore because it's just become a part of our society.
Yeah.
I guess, but to some people who were like, living for, like my dad or your dad in the 70s, 80s, 90s, like it's going to be strange to them because they've lived so long without them. We really haven't. I mean, once I started to like understand the world, there were transgender people, transgender
they
people.
They had them. I just think there wasn't a conversation about it. And also the science wasn't there. So, I mean, you got to admit, some of these trans women, cute. Hot.
I mean, you sent me a picture of 10 transgender women last week and were like, which one would you bang out first? And I picked the one in the yellow dress and you were like, they're all dudes.
Yeah, they were used to be all dudes. They were born all dudes.
Yeah.
I mean, what science can do now with hormone therapy and, puberty blockers and all this stuff that they do, it's amazing. I mean, because what makes you a male or woman is the hormone testosterone or estrogen. So,
and you know what you were saying, like, to your question, about like what did their brains develop into that way? It's like the only way you can really find out is if you start to test like children, which who's ever going to give up their kid to research about that?
Well, there's big controversy there because a lot of kids demand a trade, like Kyrie. They're basically demanding a trade. They're like, "Yo, I was born. I understand I have male genitalia, but I am a woman and I want to trade." So it's basically like, when a kid does that, and a lot of these parents, find it hard. Like, when do we allow that? Because a lot of the kids, and again, a lot of the people on the left don't like to hear this, but the truth is, a lot of those kids who have what they call gender dysphoria, that's the term for it. That's the psychological.
Which is like you're not happy with the...
Look, we may be a little uncareful with words here. We're fucking history hyenas. We don't mean anything bad by it. We're just trying to figure this out. So if I say it's a psychological deficiency, I don't know. All right? We're going to fuck up here, okay?
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is it's called gender dysphoria. And a lot of the kids who say that I feel like a woman, they find often when they go through puberty or even a little later, turn back. Like even my ex-girlfriend, who's still my good friend, she said, she thought her son was trans because her son was dressing in dresses and acting like a girl and playing with girls' toys. He had an older sister and all that. And she's a very open-minded, Upper West Side, Jewish liberal girl from New York, and she was like...
She knows who she is now.
Huh?
I'm saying she knows who she is now. She's listening to the podcast.
Oh, yeah, she knows who she is.
But you guys don't know who she is.
Yeah, well, yeah, she don't know who she is.
Yeah.
And I just gave a couple of categories.
No,
I'm just saying she's an open-minded.
No, I get it.
She's very open-minded.
Yeah.
So she was like, whatever. If he's going to be trans, going to be trans. But then he started he grew out of it. He changed and he started acting like a boy.
Right.
More stereotypical what society would consider doing boy stuff. And so that happens too. So it's a big controversy on like, if a kid demands, I want to be a girl, at what age do you say? Because look, once you start doing that hormone stuff, if you go on that puberty blockers, you never go back.
That's it.
It's you'll never be the same.
Right.
So it's like, it's a very serious decision to make.
Right.
So those gray area controversies, I completely understand. But like, I just don't understand the people on both sides who don't accept the gray areas when it comes to this issue.
They're fucking cucks.
They're just cucks on both sides.
They're annoying. Like, they're just,
oh, it's just a mental illness. It's like, is it really, dude? It's been around for fucking ever.
It's been around since, dude. There was an ancient Roman ruler. It was an ancient Roman ruler.
Elgabalus. His name is hard to pronounce. Elgabalus.
Elgabalus.
But he was fucking wild. In addition to being that, they think he's probably trans because why?
Well, they think he's trans because they said he would show up, he became rular and then he would show up to Senate meetings dressed as a fucking woman.
Yeah.
And go around, he would be giving speeches to like his people in his kingdom and he would be like, if there's a surgeon out there, I'll pay you as much as you want if you can give me a vagina.
Yeah.
He was saying that openly, being like, if you can give me a vagina, I'll pay you whatever you want. And nobody could do it because, this was fucking, I don't even know.
Pre-science.
This is like BC.
Yeah. This was.
So it's like, it's been going on.
He also married like 5 women. He also married dudes. I mean, it was what he was. I mean, he had dude lovers. He actually, he was so wild. He would sneak into brothels as the emperor and get fucked. He was a prostitute. He would prostitute himself as the emperor.
Oh my God.
How fucking wild is this guy?
Yeah. I mean, that's
So
insane.
he was wild. So
So he's a wild example, but
there's a lot of high functioning, very stable trans people, and it's great that they have their role models now too, like Andrea Pejic, who's a famous model who we did a little research on. Bruce Jenner, I mean,
Caitlyn Jenner, I'm sorry.
Caitlyn, who became Caitlyn, and Laverne Cox. There's tons of them you can see. Like, these are just normal people, and it is what it is.
They have a huge suicide rate, though.
They do have a huge suicide rate. And so that's the controversy. Is that because of how poorly they're treated, or is that because they're tortured? Maybe a little bit of both. Like I said, it probably depends on the person, and it could be a little bit of both, and it depends. You got to do it on a case-by-case basis.
But,
it's not easy to be trans in a world where everyone's going, what the fuck? You're a gray area and you need to be this or this. That's probably not easy.
In some ways, it may have been, I don't know if this is true or not, but I think there's an argument for it. It may have almost been a little bit easier to be one back in the day because, when it's not as open, like now it's like, it's like it pisses a lot of people off now because, and not people like us, but I'm talking about like these very conservative people, because it's like, there's so many people who are like, I'm trans. You want your own bathroom now, or you want this time and this thing. And it's like, people are like, no, fuck you. Like, it's always been men and women, blah, 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 blah. But like back in the day when it wasn't okay to come out and do that, it's like there probably were just like transgender people who like would find out about each other and have like secret societies that they could just be themselves and not have to go out in public and face any ridicule about it. Or if they did come out, because it was so few and far between, and there was maybe just like one person that you'd ever meet that was transgender, it was tolerated because it really wasn't getting anybody's way.
Yeah.
I think conservatives now feel like these people are getting in our way for whatever bullshit. They're just scared of change because they're fucking apes.
Right.
The right are just, they're dummies, but you can't talk to them. But I was thinking about that when I was doing the research. I was like, I wonder if you want to be trans, like in the 1700s, like there was this guy, Chevalier Dion. His name was Chevalier Dion. Did you read about him?
Yes.
Yeah, he was just like, he was like he was a French spy, like a legit French spy and diplomat. And then
super well known
dude. Yeah. He was actually famous. He was a man the first half of his life, but then the second part, he just came out and was like, listen, I got fucking tits now. It's what it is. I got tits, and I'm coming out in a court set all day, every day. That's how I roll, player.
And he was French, so I mean, they're a little trans to begin with.
But when he was such a well-known guy that when he died, the line for his funeral was out the door.
Yeah,
he was out the door because the French people didn't care. They were like, he outright said, "Listen, I was assigned female at birth, but I've been acting like a man because it's not acceptable, but I'm female." And he was actually cheered for that. And he was like a celebrity in France in the 1700s.
Which is wild.
How wild is that?
He was so well known. Didn't they like name something after? They called his name, like how they referred, maybe, I think, to
the term Enism.
Yeah, Enism. They named it after him.
Yeah, it was a descriptor for. It was a brief. It was a descriptor for those displaying transgender or gender fluid characteristics at that time.
Yeah,
and that was based off him. And if you look him up, he's fucking. I mean, he looks like. He's wearing a sick hat with a feather on it. He's dressed in women's clothing, but he just looks like Steve Kerr. Just looks like the Golden State Warriors head coach Steve Kerr, just dressed as a full-blown woman.
I mean, trans people, pre-science and now post what they can do with science, have not only been in every time period, they've been in every single culture.
Absolutely.
I was surprised to find in Pakistan now. Pakistan. It's a religious country, Pakistan.
Sure.
There's a whole, group. There's a whole transgender people all over the place.
Everywhere.
Yeah. There's I think, they 100,000 they've estimated in Pakistan. People who were born one gender. I think specifically trans women who are just living as women now.
Yeah.
And a lot of them, unfortunately, are like beggars on the street because they're outcast by society, or sex workers. That seems to often be the case because you have to pay for your surgeries and stuff, and it's not easy to get a job when you're.
Well, I mean, look at Thailand. I mean, the lady boys is they make up a huge part of the population.
They call them katois. And it's kind of more accepted in their culture. And
why do you think?
It's more as normal. It's a cultural thing. It's like, You know, I mean, they just don't have the same hangups. I mean, in Asian history, here's the thing that I found, which was so fascinating, is it's like, and it's so we're covering history, and it's really giving me insight into that old adage that the more things change, the more they stay the same.
Right.
It's like it's been the same like this always in every culture, every time. And what I mean by that is there's some people who like hated it, some people who accepted it.
Right.
You know, certain times it was a little more okay. They were worshipped. Native American times, there was like certain tribes that had certain Indian tribes had men that acted like women, women that acted like men. They had trans people, and they even worshipped what they called the two-spirit person or god.
Yeah. And it was the guy fucking Weewo was his name. Do you remember him?
First recorded native trans.
No, Weewa. Actually, he looks like Weewa. Google W-E apostrophe W-H-A. He looks like Maurice. Weewa, I told you, like looks and has the same dress that Maurice would, but Weewa was, you know, I was saying it was interesting. He was from the Zuni tribe, and he, like, you know, the white anthropologists that studied him, they were in awe of his tribe because his tribe, he was not outcast, this guy.
No.
He was celebrated as like a god that he was just both genders.
And he was like two-spirited. So
Two-spirited.
He had the wisdom of both, the feminine and masculine properties.
Yeah. So it's like, it's all interpretation. Like,
It really is.
That's all it is, interpretation, because guess what? Like, when you say like, oh, there's only male and female, it's like, you're wrong.
No.
There's male, as societies, as you know, in this society, in this westernized society, you know, as you know, we say, oh, there can only be two because you can only have a penis or a vagina. It's like, well, that's not true. Like, it's just all not true. Like, this is a gender too for some people. It just is. It just is.
Yeah.
And it's like we're like in the forefront of it now, but eventually it's going to come out. I bet they're going to be 100 years from now. People are just going to always. It's just going to be an acceptable thing, which it should be, because it's just like how did this Native American culture, the Zuni tribe, 150 years ago just accept it? Because, you know, they were just tucked away in some jungle, and they weren't influenced by society at all, and they said, yeah, we just accept it, like it's not a problem for us.
Right.
So if you know, it's like it's just not a problem.
It's how you react to it.
Yeah.
It's like what you're saying is law. Like, this is the law. This is how, like, the law, I'm right. This is the law of nature is not necessarily true, Cuzzy was.
Yeah, you're playing God.
It depends on the culture, depends on the time, depends on how you view it. What is true, what we can say without question is, again, to reiterate, trans people have always been around. Always been, and they always will. And who knows? Maybe this is a natural evolution of our species.
Probably
Maybe
is.
in the future we'll all be trans.
That's what people want.
Maybe we'll have a relationship where you know what? Maybe people break up now because they get bored, and then you know what they'll do in the future?
What?
Be like, let's switch. I'll transition into a woman. You'll transition into a guy, and we'll stay together. But it'll be fresh because we're in different genders, and we'll fall in love all over again.
Why the fuck not?
Why the hell not? I mean, Barno does it every night with his wife.
Yeah, she asks him to strap on a dildo.
Yes,
and then he scissors her with his fucking little.
She bangs him in the ass and pulls his rat tail. That's why you got it, right? So your wife had something to hang on to when she's banging from behind with that dildo, with the strapper. While you guys drink wine, drink the blood of whatever indigenous people
Drink the
your
blood
ancestors
of transgender
murdered.
people?
Yeah. That's what they do. Wild shit.
Yeah, because it's in fear.
Zach, what did you find out about the animals?
So there are animals that act transgender. Snakes, lizards, beetles, fish, and birds all exhibit transgender behaviors for advantages. The most common is escaping a threat. And garter snakes, they have like orgies, group sex, and the males will excrete female pheromones to make it easier. The other males get confused. The only example I found of female to male is some fish that can actually switch their genders.
The fish can give itself a dick?
Yeah, and they can go back and forth, or they can be both at the same time.
Wow, that'd be fucking awesome.
Wow.
Because I'm not going to lie to you, there are some guys that I'm like, yo, if I was a chick, I'd fucking love to have you inside me. There's some guys I meet where I'm like, I love this dude.
You know, seahorses give birth, too. Can you look that up? Don't seahorses give birth? So that's wild.
The males give birth.
The males give birth, cuz. I mean, you know, it's not that stringent. I get it. The norm is most people are heterosexual.
Right.
Most act like this. Testosterone makes people act like this. Estrogen makes people act like this.
Right.
That's where the stereotypes, that's the norm. That seems to me the majority.
Right.
That's fine.
Right.
But we're not talking about the majority here.
Right.
You know, the world is not black and white.
No.
These are people who fall in
gray.
these gray areas, cuzzy.
You know who's another transgender guy who we learned about? His name is Albert Cashier, and he fought in the Union Army.
I love this guy.
During the Civil War, which is it's fucking wild.
Born a chick.
He was born Jenny Hodgers. And he was born a man, born a woman, just legit born a woman. Started dressing in male clothes as a child. She just was like, I'm going to be a dude. I'm just going to be a dude. And then during the war, she joined the Union Army because people were just like, this is a guy. And she fought in 40 fucking battles.
Yeah.
40 battles. And one time she overpowered a Confederate prison guard because, she was a prisoner of war. And she overpowered them. And then she just died. She died like everyone thinking she was a man, but she was a woman.
Yeah.
So it's like, and then you said there was over 250 Civil War.
One document I read said they calculated 240 people did exactly what she did.
I mean, what about Joan of Arc or Jeanne d'Arc?
They say she was definitely trans.
Joan of Arc, I remember we learned in Catholic school. I'll never forget, we learned in Catholic school that, what a mighty and triumphant warrior she was, that she would make believe she was a man just so she could fight in the French army and defend her country and, for Christianity. And it's like, yeah, that's true. But you know what? It wasn't for Christianity or French. She thought she was a fucking dude.
Yeah.
Okay. She had the brain of a man
Yeah.
and she was transgendered. And that's what the truth is.
Yeah.
That's what the truth was. And back in the day for doing that, what they do, they fucking tied her to a piece of wood and set her on fire.
Exactly.
Which is disgusting. But that's, that was the scared civilization she was living in.
And she said, they asked her, they asked Joan of Arc, why don't you dress like a woman? She said, when I die and God requires it of me, I guess, that's an answer of her time too, probably. Right. She goes, then I'll dress like a woman, basically being like, here's an answer that maybe will get you off my back. All right. Like, yeah, I'll do that if God asks me to do that when I'm dead.
Yeah.
But for right now, fucking call me John. She probably wanted to be called John.
Absolutely. She wanted to be called John.
John of Arc.
100%.
Yeah, and she was a freaking hero and a warrior. And look, these exceptions happen in nature. And what's so interesting to me is, both the left and the right on this issue. Everyone quotes science when it's convenient for their argument.
Right.
You ever notice that?
Yeah.
It's so funny. It's like the people on the right are like, the science! But look at the science. You're born either a man or a woman. There's only two genders, blah, blah, blah. But then when it comes to global warming, they're like, that you can't, the scientists are lying. The scientists are lying because they want government funding. It's like, yeah,
Oof.
If you look back at history, scientists, they're always the ones who are pulling big schemes over people. Those are the ones always fucking, tricking us with their big schemes to get money.
Oh, I'm happy liberal cuck Hyenas has shown up. Fucking Hyenas the lib. It's always good when you got him going. When Hyenas, you got a lot of different people that live inside you.
But then there's the other side where the left goes, global warming, look at the science. And then when it comes to the trans issues, they go, where the doctors go, actually, look, you can call yourself a woman, you can claim your gender and everything, blah, 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 but you are a man. You have the male anatomy. You are a man. You're choosing, at the end of the day, it's a choice to take these estrogen or testosterone and what you call transition or whatever. These are all sociological, psychological choices, but the anatomy that you're given, there's two genders. And then the people on the left go, no, there's 460 genders. So they're both fucking out of their mind. Yeah. Everyone has lost their fucking mind, which is unbelievable because we're finally living at a time with unbelievable freedom, unbelievable comfort, unbelievable mastery over our environment and nature. And we can't fucking handle it, cuz. That's why sometimes I wonder when Tesla was sitting there and he was about to figure out electricity to make the world a better place or whatever the fuck he did.
Right.
Zach will look it up. We're history hyenas. I'm not a professional hyena. I'm not a professional historian or a fucking scientist. I just know that Tesla did good things for the world. But I wonder if there was a moment when he was sitting there going, is it fucking worth it for these monkeys?
Right.
That's how smart people must look at us.
Right.
The way we look at chimps.
Right.
Can you imagine if Elon Musk went to.
Could you imagine if he was sitting on his podcast? He would just see two idiots drooling.
I mean, all he would hear is. That's all he hears.
He can't even comprehend how dumb we are.
Can you imagine he goes to Staten Island?
Oh,
and
could you imagine Elon? That's a reality show right there that I want the rights to.
I mean,
Elon Musk goes to Staten Island.
You know what I mean? So it's like people they have such a hard time with the gray areas, and they have such a hard time with other people's freedoms. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
They go like, I'm fighting for freedom. It's like, are you?
Yeah.
Or are you fighting for the freedom that everyone who agrees with you, and that's what you call freedom?
Yeah, or are you playing God and you just, you're one of these fucking woke warriors and you're just fighting out self-righteous bullshit.
It goes both ways.
Yeah.
People want everyone to think the way that they think, and they can't handle anyone. Look, if transgenders makes you uncomfortable, you don't like it, fucking fine.
Whatever.
Fine. But you know what freedom is? You can't legislate against that. You can just be like, hey, I'm just not going to be around that. Fucking, Fine. But you can't go, let's make a law that you just can't do that, cuz.
Don't happen.
Yeah.
You see that movie about the Danish girl? Did you ever see it?
She was one of the first trans.
She was like the
first trans.
Lil Ebby was her name. Yeah,
Lil
she was
Ebby.
like 1888.
She was probably tall. The Danish are tall.
Danish.
You got some Danish in you, White Wasp. No?
You do, right?
Yeah.
Is that
I knew
confirmed,
from the height.
Bardo?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Isn't it fun to see
That's
how
nice.
we love to not think about how that we're animals. We're fucking animals.
We're animals.
And that's why, like,
you're just a hyena that's transitioned into a man.
I'm just a Greek. And some of the stereotypes about our peoples are true.
It's just
like,
true.
he hates us, obviously. Look at his beard.
Yeah.
He hates us.
He grows that out of defiance for you.
You are Irish. You bury.
Bury. Yeah, it's
You
what it
just
is. That's why my
bury
blood
shit.
pressure's high.
Yeah, you bury it. You fucking bury it. And
Yeah.
you're also Italian, which means you're the closest to monkeys that are here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you're Italian,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So your knuckles kind of, you
Scrape
can't
the
help
ground.
it.
Yeah.
You're smart. You went to school. You
Yeah.
got a doctorate in physical therapy. You're smarter than the kid who said you said something wrong on the fucking podcast.
Yeah,
Makes me
whatever
wanna
that
crush
idiot
his
was,
face.
yeah.
But you're still Italian.
Right.
So you got to throw sauce on your face and walk around with sauce.
Yeah,
you got to do that.
I got to be like, I don't like Chinese people.
It just has to
but it's
happen.
not true. But it's like you got to say it.
Got to say it.
Yeah.
And Bardo is just a Dutch wasp. He's got to get banged with a dildo. He's got to have his rat tail pulled. He's got to be 6'4" or 3 because his people are tall. That's his breed. That's what you are. You're psychotic in there. You want us dead. You want to drink the blood of Greek and Italian people while your woman fucks you with a strap on. You can't help it.
You just can't help it. I mean, it's, what are you going to do? You fucking shit into teacups and, and we don't know why you have your customs, but you do. And like transgender people, it's like, it's just how they are. It's how they're wired more. It's just like, that's what bothers me too about, when we're talking about like the history of this is like, how fucking dumb are we as a human race? Like, what does it matter if someone wants to be another sex, if they want to do that, what does that have to do with me or you?
Yeah.
What does it have to do with if they want to do that, they want to love someone who loves them for them, who gives a fuck?
Also, let's say it even bothers you. Let's say for some reason it bothers you. Why would you want to hurt someone?
Right.
Why would you want to hurt? Why would you want to physically hurt
insecurity
or hurt their right to live? I just don't get
it's
it.
Insecurity with them. I mean, the people who are the most violent towards the LGBT community are LGBTs 100% themselves, and they're just suppressing it.
They're just suppressing it.
Dude, I mean,
me and you, we're pretty comfortable guys.
We're comfortable guys,
and that's why we don't hate. I'm comfortable,
and that's why sometimes I do cross the line. I suck a dick or two. I don't feel bad about it. Sometimes you got to just do it.
You got to say there is sort of something to that argument of like the people who are the most comfortable with it.
Yeah.
And you're like, it kind of makes sense with anything. It's like, if you have no problem with it, you're comfortable with it, it's like you're secure. It's just
because I went to
you can conclude that person is secure in their choices.
I went to an all-boy Catholic high school. Mm-hmm. Okay, we were all comfortable. Most of us. I mean, there were a couple of guys who now have come out of the closet. Like one guy I played ball with, but.
Were you molested or no? You blacked out?
Yeah, I blacked out. I don't think I ever was molested, but there was a couple of times where like I would have, I've told I would go up to get like I was an altar boy and I would go up to get like the cloak for the priest and he followed me and I just blacked out.
So that line is true.
Brother
then.
Ferris, it's based in truth. Yeah. Just blacked out. I don't know what that. I mean, I maybe had a seizure. Who fucking knows?
Yeah. But there's a good chance you were doing something with a priest penis.
It might have been, but if I was, I mean, I did it for Jesus Christ.
But if you blacked it out, did it happen?
That's what I'm saying.
If a priest's penis touches your mouth, but you can't remember it, or nobody was there to see it, Did it happen?
Did it happen?
Right.
Like, or like you know, like if you were like dating someone, or like, you know, one night stand, you had sex with a transgender because you really can't tell the difference anymore. Would you feel like you had sex with a man, or would you wake up and be like, why didn't you tell me that?
Yeah.
Would you get mad about that?
No, I wouldn't.
You wouldn't care. You just like, all right, whatever.
Yeah. I mean, like, look, if there's a
as long as I got no fumes.
Look, if I'm with a transgender woman and she looks to me like a woman,
yeah.
I'm in. I'm all in.
So if at some point your fiance was like, I just want to tell you I was born a man, you're not asking for a divorce.
No, I'm not asking for a divorce.
It's fine.
Yeah, I'm just be like,
which is great.
I'd be like, great. I guess we're not having kids. That's fucking
That's
save
it.
a little money.
You adopt a little Asian baby.
Adopt a little Asian. Yeah, it's like I don't buy I just don't buy the people who say, because look, especially now post science, the way we're describing it post science, a lot of these girls who start hormone therapy early, I mean, they're smoking. Some smoke shows out there.
Absolutely.
I mean, Andrea Pejic is a smoke show to me.
Yeah, and there's
a smoke show.
Bailey J.
Bailey J. She's a porn star.
Yeah,
smoke show to me.
Smoke show.
But she does have a pole. You know?
Do you masturbate to transgender porn ever?
I have.
So you're okay if
I've masturbated a lot of different porn,
let me ask you
which
this.
I think is a problem. That's a whole nother podcast.
Yeah.
History of porn. Porn, I think, is wild. I think it's bad for you.
Porn.
I think it's a little bad for you.
Do you when you masturbate to transgender porn, are these people pre-op or post-op?
No, I'm not into it. I've never. Yeah,
they gotta have a dick. Yeah. All right, cuz.
Here's the thing. I think I'm so straight.
Yeah.
That it makes me a little gay.
Yeah.
Because if they pull it off, if I'm looking at looking at a transgendered woman.
Yeah.
And I'm like, they're hot.
Yeah.
I'm attracted to her because she is a girl to me.
Absolutely.
So it's like, but then she's also got a shwee, and it's like, but is that a little guy? I don't know.
That's what
I don't care. I don't care.
What I was saying before, you know, I went to an all-boy Catholic high school.
But I don't like dudes at all.
And I was on the basketball team, and like the thing was, like when a new, you know, the new person would come on the team, or like, you know, when we started to get like comfortable with each other, I would be like, you know, once somebody would be like, yo, new kid, let me see your dick. And then they'd be like, no. I'd be like, what are you, fucking gay? Let me see your dick. And then they pull out their dick, and that's how we knew they weren't gay. Because if you were like, I'm not going to show you my dick, we'd be like, yeah, because you're a fucking homo.
Yeah.
That's what it is. But meanwhile, that's how straight
or they got a small peen.
Or they got a small peen.
That's another thing you guys didn't consider.
Yeah.
Because it's not easy to just whip out your peen
but
if you're insecure about the size. Because then you're going to get fucking made fun of by the dudes.
I'll never forget. We had a new guy come on our team. I'll never forget. This kid, 6'6" black kid. I won't say his name. Just a kid. I don't fucking know. I won't say his name. But I remember I was a junior. It was varsity. I was a junior. He was a senior that had come in from another school, and he was a dope player, and he was fucking huge. And I'll never forget, me and a couple of my friends, you know, who we sat on the bench in high school. We couldn't wait for the first practice to end because we just wanted to hit those showers because we wanted to see if this kid had a fucking piece. I'll never forget. We were so excited. We couldn't wait. We could not wait till the coach blew that final whistle and said, boys, hit the showers, because we were waiting for this kid's fucking
wanted to
rod.
see what kind of
And then
piece
he
he had.
came in with a bathing suit.
Yeah.
He came in with bathing suit shorts on, which kids did. You know, he's 16, 17 years old. I'll never forget, like, I took the bus home depressed. And I remember coming home and my mother being like, what's wrong? And I'd be like, you wouldn't understand, Ma.
Yeah.
You wouldn't understand. Because all I want to do is see this kid's dick.
Yeah.
Now, it's not like I was fantasizing about it. I just wanted to see how
were
big
curious.
his dick. I was just curious.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's not like I didn't go home that night and, like, jerk off to his dick. But, like, I remember being upset that I couldn't see his Pishka deal. Is that wild?
I mean, it's just it's nature, cuz there's gray areas to stuff. You know, I really do when it comes to sexuality and it comes to gender. I don't think gender. I do think you're assigned. There's two genders you're assigned. I guess with intersex you can kind of say three, right? I guess but when it comes to gender and what your brain is and what you want to live as, there's gray areas and there's a scale. There's a scale, just like I think there's a scale for sexuality. I think there's a scale for gender. I think I think it's probably like if you did like a scale from 0 to 10, it's like there's a few people who are 10 straight,
right,
and there's a few who are 0 gay, like our friend Mateo. He's gay.
Our friend
There's
Mateo
no
Lane,
way he wasn't born gay.
one of the greatest comics, Joey Camasta. Our friend Joey. I mean, these guys
changed the
great
air
friends of ours.
temperature.
I mean, these guys are it's a no doubt about 100%
True blue gay.
Yeah. Which is fucking fantastic.
Graham at the stand.
Yeah.
How could Graham ever? How could he? I mean, it's like when he acts straight, you're like that's unnatural.
If Mateo or Joey or Graham asked me anything about baseball, I'd be like, I don't want to talk to you about this. I wanted to Mateo was talking to me yesterday about his boyfriend in Spain, and it's fucking that's what I want to hear from you. That's comfortable to me.
Yeah.
But then if he asked me what are the Yankees? The Yankees get any new pitching staff? I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Feels a little weird.
Why would you say that to me? You make me feel awkward here.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about the pitching staff.
Yeah.
I want to hear about your boyfriend giving you the rod.
Yeah, and I feel like gender's probably similar. There's probably some people who, and that's what I mean by case to case and sort of like the scale. I'm sure there's some people who make more of a choice.
Sure.
And then there's some people who are just, their brains are born a little bit more that way. Maybe science hasn't really figured, it's inconclusive. So these people on the right who say it's conclusive, that it's just a mental illness, that's not correct.
Right.
It is just not true. They're still researching it. There's a little evidence on both sides. They're trying to figure it out. But obviously, it's something that's been here forever. It doesn't harm anyone. And when you say, oh, it's a mental illness, look at the suicide rate. It's like, dude, do you know what kind of lack of empathy you have to just make that conclusion? Are you fucking God? Do you really believe you know it all? I mean, do you know how hard it must be to feel different and then be in a society where you're outcast and people say there's something wrong with you and you can't work here? Everyone's laughing at you. Everyone's saying you're different. Everyone's fucking discriminating against you and sometimes getting violent on you. You're telling me that doesn't play a role in the suicide rate?
Of course it does.
Of course it does.
Of course.
I mean, what is wrong with these people? None of you are smart. None of you are smart. Neither one of us is smart. Okay? You know who's smart? Tesla was smart. You know who's smart? A brain surgeon.
Elon Musk.
Elon Musk is smart. Somebody who can fucking make a car or design a building is fucking smart. If you're on the internet and you talk, you're not fucking smart.
No.
Just admit it. Like we are. We're not fucking smart. Chrissy has a PhD, and he's not even that fucking smart.
I'm not fucking smart, dude. I got a PhD. I don't know shit about anything.
Okay? If you can build a nano robot, you're fucking smart.
Yeah.
If you can do cancer research, you're fucking smart.
Yeah.
If you know how to do science and medical stuff, you're fucking smart.
Yeah.
Otherwise, have a little humility to you.
Yeah.
Be more of a questioner than more of a statement maker. Like I just made a statement.
Can I tell you?
I'm totally being a hypocrite.
I fucking love it. Yeah, Giannis gonna blow his brains out tonight.
Yeah.
Can I tell you who is fucking really smart? I'm gonna tell you smart right now. These new True Blue Gay members of our community who signed up at our Patreon page, patreon.com/Bay Ridge Boys. Thank you for your service. It's time to read the names of the new members of our community, and these people are smart and good. Okay.
Yeah.
First guy. I think it's a guy. SHKELQIME. Shklemi? Shklemi? Thank you for your service.
What kind of name do you think that is?
Shklemi.
Shklemi? Maybe Israeli?
Or is it maybe like a it's like a pseudo name? It's like a made
up. Or is that
name?
a black name? Like Shklemi.
Yo, Shklemi.
Blacks get original with their names.
That's fucking great.
Yeah.
Shklemi. Now we have Michael Lord. Good name. I don't know if Lord's his real last name.
No, that's a wasp name. Yeah,
Michael
they call
Lord.
themselves lords or church. These people are so fucking wild.
Church.
They just my name is Michael Building. My name is Michael School. My name is Lord. Michael Lord.
Yeah.
Call me Tom Priest.
Yeah, Michael Lord. You only dated $1, you wasp fuck. You got all you own the universe.
You own the color yellow.
But thank you for your service, Michael Lord.
Thank
Just
you for
kidding.
your service.
Mark Blaker, not Baker. Blaker.
He's definitely bi.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, 100%.
Blaker's bi.
His emoji is a yellow cat. So that
he's bi.
Yeah, bi.
True blue bi.
True blue bi. TBB. Chris Manillo.
There you go. How you doing?
Yo, what's up, Chris Manillo?
Yo, how's your lawn in Staten Island look right now,
Thank you for your
Chris?
service, Chrissy.
Fuck yeah.
Then this kid's name is Anes. ANES.
Really?
Anes Hadjijovic. Or is it Ains?
Could be Ains.
It says Anes.
You know what kind of name that is? Let's see how good you are with ethnicity.
Anes Hadjijovic is probably Croatian.
That's right, or it's
Yugoslavian.
Something over there. Yeah,
something
Slavic.
over there.
It's
Slavic. It's a Slavic name. That's where the word slave comes from.
That's where the word slave comes. But we're gonna do another. We got so many episodes.
This kid's name is Joey Blowy.
Joey Blowy.
Joey Blowy.
True blue gay.
Suck at that. Joey
Blowy. How did you get through high school, cuz?
Thank you for your service, Joey Blowy. Next, we got Patrick Sadarzada.
Hi, this is Patrick.
Thank you, Patrick.
Thank you for your. Hope you enjoyed the last episode.
Here we got a 2-for-1. Damien and Jackie Wicks.
Oh.
Thank you. Maybe they're Siamese twins?
Jackie and Damian Wicks?
Damien and Jackie Wicks. It's one account.
Oh, that means they're married, cuz.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Or Siamese twins. We don't assume here.
We don't assume. Next up, we got Rosemary Roach.
Oh, that's a true blue wasp.
Rosemary Roach. Yeah, just named yourself after a fucking bug that can sustain nuclear blasts. Oh, here we go. This guy's a mafia guy or just, I don't know, a DJ. Johnny Ace.
Johnny Ace, how
Johnny
you doing?
Ace.
Yo,
Ace
Johnny
in the hole.
Ace, how's your mother's sauce? Is this shit? Are you stirring it?
Thank you, Johnny. Then next up, no last name. Just this guy's just name is Joe.
Joe.
Joe. Thank you, Joe.
That's Italian.
Yeah,
that's an
you're
Italian
fucked.
move right there.
This guy's in witness protection.
Yeah.
Donate to Patreon.
I'll donate to you. Note from Larry.
Yeah. Next we got Mike Vangelatos.
Oh, Ticanis, Greek.
Mike V.
Greeks support Greeks.
Next up we got Mark the Shark.
Mark the Shark.
Mark the Shark.
All right.
All right.
All
Thank
right,
you,
Mark.
Shark.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark the Shark.
Mark the Shark. Appreciate it.
Mark A. Appreciate your service. Then we got Rafael De Luca.
¿Qué pasa, mi gente?
Rafael De Luca, he thank you for your service, and he also, I think he wants to help us out with some stuff. I got a message from Rafael.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, he wants to help us out with some shit, like maybe, make our merch. We're going to start making merch pretty soon.
That's right.
Start making T-shirts.
That's it. Is he Latin, Rafael De Luca?
Rafael De Luca. I think so.
Or it could be Spanish.
His emoticon is a bouquet of roses.
It could be Spanish.
Next up, we got Nikki Randant. Thank you, Nikki.
Nikki, thanks, Nikki.
Nikki Randant.
Nikki's such a cute name. Nikki.
Next up, we got Janine Villanueva, who looks cute. She's got a profile pic up. Thank you, Janine Villanueva.
Janine, Italian, Villanueva, Spanish.
Janine
Latin.
Villanueva. And last but not least, Teddy Tanzer.
Yo, Teddy!
Teddy! I don't meet too many guys named Teddy.
Ted's a good name.
We got to do fucking an episode on Teddy Roosevelt.
We do. You love Teddy.
Teddy Tanzer. Thank you again for your service. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, everybody who's just as fans of ours, who's a fan of the history of Hyenas, who's a fan of the Bay Ridge Boys. We appreciate it all. You can always check out everything I'm doing on Instagram at Christie Comedy, Twitter at Christie Comedy.
Giannis Pappas, all one word. Twitter, Instagram, all that good stuff.
Boom. And I'm going to be coming. This comes out on Sunday. I'll be at Cleveland and Hilarities March 29th to April 1st. Come through. Check out your boy. You got any dates coming up, Giannis?
I will be in Long Island. You're going to hear this after that is, unless you're on Patreon. If you're on Patreon, I'll be in Long Island. The Governor's this weekend, the 23rd and 24th of March. And then I'm going to be, go to my website, YannisPappas.net. I got a couple dates there.
Yeah, and you can hit me at ChristyComedy.com. I'll be at Comics Mohegan Sun this weekend. So thank you so much. Tell your friends about us. We're going to be putting out our Patreon-only episode for only members of our community. Go to, if you want to hear any of those episodes or get any of the behind-the-scenes videos of our history tours, go to patreon.com/Bay Ridge Boys and just be a part of our community, because we're just true blue gays trying to make it work. I've had my dick tucked back this whole episode in honor and support of my fellow transgender fans. And by the way, if you are transgender and you're a fan of ours, hit us up. Send us a DM. Tell us what you thought of the episode. Tell us what some of your struggles are. We'd love to hear from you.
Also, there's a trans show on this network. Bailey J has a show on this network.
There you go, Bailey J.
She's trans, so check it out.
Boom, check that out.
Check it out.
Check out riotcast.com for some other good shows. Thank you guys so much for listening. We appreciate it.